Sputnik I, the planet's first artificial satellite, was launched by the Soviet Union on October 4, 1957. Experts and American residents were taken aback by the successful launch, since they had assumed that the U.S. would achieve this technical breakthrough first. The Soviet Union's victory allayed concerns that the U.S. military had lagged behind in terms of new technology development. As a result, Cold War tensions increased, and the armaments race grew more intense after Sputnik was launched. Both the US and the USSR were attempting to create new technologies in the 1950s. Near the end of the Second World War, Nazi Germany came dangerously close to creating the first intercontinental ballistic missile, ICBM, and German experts supported post-conflict research in both nations. In addition, both nations were working toward the International Council of Scientific Union's aim of launching satellite technology by late 1957 or early 1958. The United States tested a number of rocket and missile types during the course of the decade. However, none of these tests were successful. One achievement in a long line of technological triumphs was the Soviet Union's first Sputnik satellite launch. It was not something that many Americans had expected, and even those who were unaware of how remarkable it would be. Following its successful launch, the Russians launched 2 more satellites, one of which transported a dog into space. The Russian satellite weighed 184 pounds, a significant amount more than anything the United States was building at the time. These, when combined, rounded the globe every 90 minutes and instilled worry that the United States was far behind other nations in terms of technological readiness. The Soviet Union's test of the first intercontinental ballistic missile that year further alarmed the United States. Sputnik's success had a significant effect on both the U.S. and the Cold War. U.S. authorities accelerated space and military programs out of fear that they had lagged behind. The United States simultaneously worked to develop its own ICBMs in response to Soviet Premier Nikita Khrushchev's boasts in the late 1950s about Soviet technological superiority and expanding ICBM stockpiles, which it believed were aimed at the United States. For a number of years, discussions of drafting a treaty outlawing nuclear testing were shelved while both nations focused on developing new technologies. In this way, as each nation prepared to develop new means of attacking the other, the launch of Sputnik fueled the arms competition as well as the space race and escalated Cold War tensions. In the end, American legislators and political activists were able to successfully capitalize on the concern that a missile gap may open up between the nuclear arsenals of the United States and the Soviet Union during the 1960 presidential contest, handily electing John F. Kennedy over Vice President Eisenhower, Richard Nixon. The 1962 Cuban Missile Crisis acted as a warning to both sides about the potential risks associated with the weapons they were building.